While many have called for government to cut spending to close the budget deficit in the 2017 fiscal package, the Minister of Finance, Imbert, says such a move would depress many sectors of the economy and result in widespread unemployment. At the Chamber of Industry and Commerce's post-budget forum, Minister Imbert said the next 3 to 4 years would be a difficult period for the economy. Mahalia Joseph has more.
Minister of Finance Imbert said the next couple of years is expected to be rough as revenue from oil is very low.
We're at the point now where if we cut expenditure anymore, there would be a severe economic downturn, and a severe depression. So when I hear people say you should cut expenditure more, what do they really mean? The government is the largest consumer, the largest injector of funds into the system. If we were to cut expenditure to say 42 billion, that 10 billion would come out of the revenue of everybody in this room.
In 2015-2016, government put forward a $63 billion budget. The 2016 to 2017 package is $52 billion.
We've reached a point where it's very difficult to cut more than we have cut for this year. Now going forward, we'll probably be spending 53 billion, 54 billion for the next 3 or 4 years. So it's a number that Trinidad and Tobago needs to get used to.
Asked whether government would be imposing the 7% tax on bigger retail companies instead of the average citizen, he said data from the banks prove that it's feasible to include the tax on online items.
The banks tell me credit card purchases in Trinidad and Tobago every year exceed $1 billion US. We're going to earn $70 million from that measure.
Minister Imbert said his main aim is managing the currency and keeping inflation in check.
When the IMF did its Article 4 consultation, they had suggested a 20% devaluation. But I'm looking at inflation, because once you let the currency go, the price of goods and services goes up, and then you have demands for increased wages.
And he stressed that government has not had to cut public servant salaries or perform any job cuts. Mahalia Joseph, C News.
With fluctuating energy prices, stakeholders have called for government to look at different avenues for diversification, namely agriculture, as it's seen as a way to lower this country's food import bill. The Minister of Finance, Imbert, said the country has lost $17 billion per year from the energy sector. They have to find a way to generate income from other sources. Hence, government is pushing for the Sandals Resort for Tobago.
Despite, criticism from environmentalists, when you look at a project like that can employ 2,000 people directly, have an economic footprint of $500 million a year, where else are you going to get that level of diversification? You have to do it. So that a lot of what we will be doing over the next 2 years may not find favor with the environmentalists. I saw an article today, for example, we should stop oil and gas production. What does that mean? This country needs at least $15 billion a year.
The minister said it isn't an easy task to diversify the economy, as he was asked if there are any short-term plans Trinidad and Tobago could look to for diversification.
It won't be possible to diversify the economy in the short term. It takes a long time. People talk about these things, but they're not realistic. You just have to have the drive, and you have to keep pushing. What we as a country have done over the last 10, 20 years is forgotten about it, in my opinion. So that we need to remember, we need to, reinvent ourselves, as it were. When the oil price collapsed in the 1980s, the Trinidad and Tobago manufacturing sector took off.